My name is Hannah. Sorry. I'm a singer, songwriter, guitarist, all of the above. And I wrote a little song and need my capo. But it's called Middle School, and I hope you guys enjoy. My thoughts are pretty, and so are my shoes. You think I'm pretty, so I must keep those. Well, you're right about that one, since I'm always scared. Hating my pastimes, defining my mirror. What if I said I see where you're coming from? And maybe then I wouldn't feel so dumb. I know you like me now, I assume I would. You pick a piece up off the ground for your friends to listen to. I'm always bored. I'm never bored, no. My thoughts are broken and million times bound. Let's stop for dinner since I've caught your eye now. Well, who made you that way? The one who made me. Let's take a trip, babe. I'm thinking Miami. What if I said I see where you're coming from? And maybe then I wouldn't feel so dumb. I don't really like me now, I assume I would. You pick a piece up off the ground for your friends to listen to. I'm never bored. I'm never bored, no. Let's take a trip to the Apollo. Fuck it up, maybe even a little. You feel hollow. Let's dance, babe. We could do it freestyle. So Jesus and drilled into a fix now. Whoa. What if I said I see where you're coming from? And maybe then I wouldn't feel so dumb. I wouldn't like me now. Thank you.
Can we get one more round of applause for that? That was really good. Okay, so we left off the last segment discussing what it means to open the doors up for each other, what it means to show up, what it means to be there for each other. And this segment we'll touch on a couple things, but we'll mainly focus on how to amplify the voices of different artists, specifically Black women, and specifically in Birmingham, Alabama. So I want to have an open-ended question. This is for the audience too, but is there anyone in the room right now that inspires or influences you? That inspires us personally? Yes. And you can.
Funny enough, one of the people in this room that inspires me was sitting right behind me.
Oh, wow.
So, a few weeks back, I was invited to come out and listen to some people read. And me personally, I've always been a bit of an isolated person. So that was the day I decided, you know what, let's of all days, I'm gonna choose today to just not be in the house by myself. And I wanna go out and be social, communicate with other people. And just that day of deciding, you know what, this will be the day I push and do that stuff. It changed everything. I got back into a whole bunch of art that I had been doing. Because most of my life, I've been a visual artist. I do sketches. I'm not the best painter, but I could always improve at it if I really tried. but I'm mostly doing sketch arts. When I was younger, I used to dance. And because of a couple weeks ago when I heard some amazing people, I've gotten into poetry. And I don't really know how to put it in words, but it's just a lot of things in life, it takes a little step forward in order to improve or at least get out of the space that you were in before that you never thought you could break past. So I just want to give a thank you to you for being one of the people that day that inspired me to do more.
So the man behind me, he's he's the most person, he's the number one person that inspires me and influences me the most. Also, my mentors, JP, Pat, and, just the entirety of real life poets, the whole thing that inspires me and keeps me moving forward. So, yeah, they got me out of my community, they kept the gun out of my hand and they put a mic in there. And ever since then, I've just been writing and, trying to lead my community for the next step. And so, yeah, I'd like to thank the entire.
I'm here today with my best friend in the whole world, and she is one of the toughest, bravest, sweetest people I know. So I'm just really glad that she exists.
All right.
So the next question I have.
I'm sorry, but I am inspired by everybody. I'm inspired by everybody in this room because 10 years ago, a lot of this was just a thought and some wishes that we all had. And to be in this room with a lot of the individuals that started from, I'm literally, when I say from ground zero, and pushing in what we believed at the time was the future of the art world. And I'm looking at several of the artists that has come through Real Life Poets, the two artists that opened up the show and what we're doing here in this space. I'm looking at Ashley. I know you behind the camera, but Ashley was our very first teen open mic host so many years ago, and I'm watching this sister come into her own in all of this, and now being one of the leaders of Real Life Poets, and all that it's doing. And so we're creating this cycle. And so I'm thankful for you all trusting and believing in the vision and growing and us all working together and loving each other. So, so y'all inspire me. And Alexis inspires me because I told her she had to do this at the last minute and she was like, that's what's up.
Thank you, JP. So the next question we have is, how can we advance Black women voices in Birmingham?
Okay, as an artist who is representing Black women, I think one of the things is going back to the heart condition of who you are as a woman, a person, and sometimes there's a relationship with Black women, sometimes it's not always positive and not always embracing, but I'm seeing that change. So there's something about, first of all, just your attitude towards other artists, but other Black women in particular, not seeing them as competition or your enemy, or just feeling some sense of insecurity, but embracing her as your queen, your sister, your fellow creative. And then it puts you in a heart condition where you can share and uplift and inspire and not try to hold it in. And I think you alluded to it earlier about finding out what each other needs as well. Like, sometimes it's just a phone call. Sometimes it's access to information. Could just be a text message. Could be anything that they need, like whatever we can do to help build each other. I try as much as I can to give people information. That's so powerful. Connections. I'm like, hey, you know what, you do this, and you do this. I don't know. And one of my favorite catchphrases, let me put you together and see if it's a good fit. That way, if you guys, oh, she was crazy. Well, I just asked you if it was a good fit. I didn't say it was gonna work out. But just saying that, putting people together, just doing what you can do to help each other and having those real conversations. But again, it goes back to, I think, your attitude towards other Black women, and I think that goes back to a deeper root of how you see yourself. So when you start to love, when you really love yourself and understand who you are and what you have, and that, you know, it's not like you're all competing for this little plot of success, whatever that is to you. There's a whole chasm of we're on a planet, you know, and a lot of Black women, especially here in America as artists in all genres, oftentimes had to leave America to get whatever recognition they needed, and then they would come back. And sometimes I find that here, we alluded to the issue of race before, and it's not easy as a Black woman in Alabama as an artist. I was like, oh my God, I just feel like I had 3 strikes against me in a sense, but I believe in staying here, but you also have the whole world of access through social media, the internet now, and you can build in other platforms, other cities, other countries, and bring it here, bring that newness back here, bring your exploration here, your growth here, and spread it out, and I think that's where we build from.
I would say by starting off by closing the many different gaps that we have, like for instance, the generational gaps that we have, because I know for me as a youth, I can see even now, like there's a lot more adults than it probably should be, because it should be more of a mix of, you know, youth and adults and all this, but like, I feel like we don't really understand each other as well as we possibly could be, because I know growing up in the age of social media, I know like a lot of people have this conception of like, you know, kids are all about the internet and like what's going on, pictures and images and all this stuff, but I feel like once we get this idea of, okay, it's much more than that, what's the real issue behind that, we can really, you know, delve into that issue of like, okay, what else do we need to do to solve this problem that we have in this gap?
So, like, as a Black female, I feel like not as much as I would like, but Black women are being represented more and more each day. But I feel like with like a lot of the artists that like I've seen, I don't think the entirety of Black women is being shown. And like that's a really hard thing to do, you know, because Black women we're vast, we're beautiful. There's a lot to us. We're intricate. But one thing that I like to do as an artist is be like really like true to myself, and I like to show like the feminine side of Black women, because I think a lot of the time what's expressed is, you know, the idea of a strong Black woman, and that's good, I guess, but it's also really toxic. Like to have to live up to that standard, and a lot of my friends, you know, they have to live up to the strong Black female standard, and it's really bad for like them handling their mental health issues. Like those two don't really mix well together. So I think that this ties in with the question earlier about the responsibility of being an artist. But to better represent Black women, and with my responsibility as an artist, just express myself. And also redefine what it means to be feminine, because I think that I'm a very feminine like person, like on the inside. But some days I want to dress like a middle-aged white man, and like that's okay, that's cool. And like sometimes I like don't have like the cleanest language, but I'm still a feminine person. So yeah.
I think for me, it was the understanding of shutting the hell up and just listening. That's very important, and just to listen, because sometimes as a man you want to tell people what to do, or tell people your idea, right? And sometimes your idea isn't the right idea. Sometimes you have to shut the hell up, you have to listen. And through listening, you can figure out what this person needs, right? And then you can interject or give a back and forth, or throw out ideas. But sometimes it's very important to just listen. And I think, you know, sometimes as men we have this, I should support and do this for black women because my mother and my grandmother and my auntie, but that's cool. But you should do it because there's another human on the side of that. You don't have to just do it because you love me, Mom. We all love me, Mom. But there's a human. And even getting back to kind of like the hate speech, we're humans. We have to be better humans. We have to do a better job at understanding that that's another human on the other side. So that's one of the two biggest things that I learned.